Hello friends, bienvenidos. My name is Jen, aka Jen Kahlo on social media, your local witchy friend and intuitive guide through the occult. As always, my lovely husband and co-host is David, aka Premier Pulls on social media.
Hi everyone, on today's episode, Jen explains Taurus season.
Welcome to the show, grab a chair, make yourself at home. Jen's got stories to share, you'll never feel alone.
We made it.
Yes.
We made it to the end. This has been a year-long journey going through every astrological, zodiac, horoscope, whatever you want to call it, sign, and we made it to the end. So we're finally here. I think we're ending on a good one, right? I feel like it's been leading to something. But today we're going to talk about Tauruses. And as we were preparing for this last one, I went back and listened to a couple of episodes that we did regarding the signs. And I listened to the Virgo one, and that one held up really good. It's super funny.
Yeah.
So if you haven't heard that one, go back and listen to it or find your sign. And if you've been patiently waiting as a Taurus, the time is finally here. So this episode is all about y'all. I don't know if that's fitting or not, but you'll let me know if Tauruses would be waiting anxiously. So yeah, what is a Taurus? Who are the Tauruses? Will we like the Tauruses? I know you don't like Tauruses, but I'm sure we'll get into that.
Yes, we will address that. But actually, before that, we just came back from New York. We will be posting a New York vlog, just recapping some of our adventures, maybe showing a little bit of some footage that we took. So that will be our unhinged episode this week, which is through Patreon only. So feel free to subscribe if you want to see that for as little as $4 a month.
Yeah. If you're not part of the Patreon, we do have 3 tier levels. So entry is accessible at any level you feel comfortable. We love the Patreon. We love our Patreon community. Jen and I do a monthly community day. I feel like we don't talk about that as much, but we do try to give back to the community and give you basically your money's worth. So there's a lot of cool perks that you get for joining the Patreon. So if you haven't already, check it out. I think you'll really enjoy it.
Yes, so now we can get into Taurus. So Taurus, thank you for patiently waiting because we started with Gemini.
Yes, and we went all around. It's been a year in the making, huh?
I know. I'm kind of sad that it's coming to an end. I really like these episodes, but
we've really done one of these a month for the last 12 months. Yeah, that's true, right?
It is.
Oh my gosh,
wild!
Time flies. I remember when we first came up with the concept of like, hey, we should maybe do one of these, and I said my first reservation was, do you think we'll have enough to cover a whole episode? And you're like, oh yeah, we will. And as we started kind of doing these, we kind of found the format of like you explaining, me asking some questions, referring to notable people for that sign. So yeah, this is the culmination of all our work on these specific signs. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so Taurus is a fixed earth sign ruled by Venus. The springtime Venus sign, the other sign ruled by Venus is Libra. So that's why I have my little flower Venus earrings on today. Very fitting for Taurus. It is the second sign in the zodiac because, as we know, Aries was the first and kicks off the zodiacal year. This year, Taurus season is from April 20th to May 20th.
420.
420. Yep. The symbol is the bull. Very fitting for an earth sign. So like we said, it is a fixed sign. So fixed signs are in the middle of their season. So Taurus is in the middle of spring. Very true to its season, very authentic and unapologetic about it. The other fixed signs are Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius.
So we're fixed signs. Ooh, I think
we're in the middle of summer.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting how these two interact for sure. All right, well, tell us about our Taurus friends. What are they known for? What are their characteristics?
Yeah, so at their best, they are loyal, reliable, practical, grounded, patient, very patient, strong, and determined. And at their worst, they are stubborn, materialistic, overindulgent, and reluctant to change.
Okay, interesting. I think they have some really great positive characteristics.
They do.
I'm not surprised that they're stubborn because bulls can be very, very stubborn.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is an interesting sign because I think we've had signs like this where it's like, some of these characteristics are a little interesting. I think we'll start off like stubbornness. I don't think it's always like a bad thing. I think when you're stubborn to the point where you're like willing to be unmoved or unconvinced or not change your point of view, that can kind of get you into some problems. Materialistic, I mean, we live in a capitalistic society. We're all, I think, a little materialistic. That one I don't think is too bad. Overindulgent, kind of the same, right? I think abundance brings overindulgence. So this one, I don't think is as negative. I know we've had other signs where it's like you're stubborn and like you're willing to like not compromise and you can be reckless. So I think
that was Aquarius.
I think a lot of this is very like surface level. But with their good qualities, you have loyal, reliable, practical, grounded, patient, strong, and determined. I mean, I think this would make an awesome person. I feel like I would be friends with this person. You know, somebody who's loyal. You definitely want loyalty in your friendships and your relationships. Somebody who is reliable. I know I think I've talked about it a lot, but one of my pet peeves is people who are late. So I can't see a Taurus showing up late to a dinner party. And then practical, yeah. Why overwork yourself if you can figure out like a good solution? Grounded, you know, you don't want people out in the stars. You want people, I mean, you want a little bit of everything, but those people that can really ground themselves in reality and have like an understanding of like who they are as a person and maybe don't need all that extra validation. That sounds like a good person to me.
Yeah. So, before we get into the famous people, let's talk about their compatibility.
Yeah.
So they're less likely to get along with Leos and Aquarius.
Okay.
And they're most likely to get along with other earth and water signs, but specifically, I would say their best match is Scorpio.
Okay.
So
why Leos?
I was going to say, let me set the record straight. So where is my beef and where is the rumor that I don't like Tauruses?
Was that a pun? The beef?
It should be. Let's say yes. Let's pretend I'm that intelligent. So, I have a lot of beef with male cis Tauruses. If you are a straight man that is a Taurus, we're most likely going to have some issues. There is a meme that explains why. I love this meme. It says, I do not have PTSD. It is just the wizard's curse. The wizard is my father, but that is not relevant. My dad is Taurus. And there is that meme of like the firstborn daughter and how they're spicy and they get into it. So yeah, me and my dad, we would go head to head. He's a Taurus. I'm a Leo. We're both fixed signs. You can imagine how that was growing up.
Yeah, maybe dive into that a little bit. Not your father part. I think that's a common archetype. But what is it about Leos and Tauruses that would have that conjunction of like they're butting heads?
Well, they're both fixed signs, so they're both unapologetic as to like how they are. They both want to be right. Leo wants to be the leader, of course.
Yeah.
But then Taurus wants to have a voice and say, well, this makes the most sense. And I'm sorry that it doesn't make sense to you, but it's the right way because it's my way. And it makes sense to me.
And I think we alluded to the Leoness and the, oh gosh, what was the sign before this? Aries, where Aries don't give a shit. They don't really care about what you think. They're just going to go for it. And with Leos, it's not so much that we don't care. I feel like we want to be right and we think we're right, but at the end of the day, I think we are diplomatic. And like, we may judge and be like, ugh, Taurus, like you're not right, but whatever. To save the peace, like we'll kind of go your way. But what you're saying is Taurus is like my way or the highway?
Specifically in this society with men, absolutely. Because men are seen as like the domineering, correct forces, and like the society revolves around what men say, think, care about, and I don't really care what men have to say, to be honest. So that's like, I know that was a joke.
Okay. I was like, well, I'm your husband.
And my co-host.
And your co-host.
That was literally a joke for the irony. Anyway, But my female Tauruses, I appreciate you because you are the friend.
You have said that. You're like, I love my female Tauruses.
Yes, it's just the male Tauruses that I'm just like, sir, you are doing too much if you're going to tell me what to do. But my female Tauruses, I love y'all. You are ruled by Venus, just like my rising sign. I am a big Leo, but I'm also a big Libra because I have a lot of Libra placements. So because we're both ruled by Venus, we can see eye to eye with liking the finer things in life. So if you're Venusian ruled, you enjoy good food, you enjoy good arts, good quality, things like that. So
Tauruses are cultured.
Yes, they are. Yes, that is a great way to describe them.
Well, even your dad, like as much as turmoil there is, I remember a time we called him, we were catching up. I was like, "Where are you?" He's like, "I'm in Texas." And we're like, "What are you doing in Texas?" He's like, "I don't know. I just wanted to try a steak from Texas, so I got on a plane and went."
That is so Taurus coded.
So yeah, I mean, even those characteristics are awesome. See, I feel like I would get along with the Taurus.
Yeah, it's just growing up with one and getting the Taurus version of the wizard's curse. But anyway.
All right. So now let's talk about who they're compatible with. You know me, I love the spiciness. Who are they compatible with? Who should a Taurus be dating and why?
Yeah, so they're most likely to get along with other earth and water signs because earth definitely grounded and a Taurus likes that. Water, they are a little bit more adaptable and more likely to, concede to what a Taurus thinks. With Scorpios, they get that groundedness that a fixed sign gives, but they're also water signs, so
they're more fluid.
And they're more emotional. A little bit, I would say, more emotional than Taurus. So it's that nice balance where Taurus brings the logic, and then Scorpio brings like the intuition.
Kind of like this podcast.
Yeah. So
what would a relationship look like? Let's say there's your arch nemesis, like the male Taurus. If this person was looking for like a partner and they found a Scorpio, how would that relationship look like in the pragmatic sense?
I feel like Scorpio would be good because I don't think Scorpio would just like fold to Taurus, but I feel like they could find a way to stand their ground without hurting a Taurus's pride.
So like challenge them in the best way possible.
Yeah, they would find like the right, because again, Scorpios like finding the right opportunity to strike, or like they would probably be good at being like, when is the best time? When are they in the mood to like hear this? And then say like, yo, here's the logic as to why like you're being dumb right now.
Let's take the best example of like deciding where to go to dinner. How would that play out with like a Taurus and a Scorpio if they were dating?
Well, I feel like the thing with Scorpio is that I don't think that they would really care too much because Taurus would probably have good food recommendations and Scorpio would be like, yeah, I'm down. If you need like food recommendations or like anything, like honestly product reviews, like the best Yelp reviewer, the best product reviewer would be a Taurus. They would tell you you're getting the bang for your buck.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they're grounded, right? So they'd be like, listen, I'm not going to spend time with I was going to say the aesthetics, but they do have a little bit of that.
So I feel like the sister sign Libra would care about like, is the vibe in here good? And it can't be like absolute trash, but I think Taurus would appreciate the food more than the vibe of the restaurant. They would take both things into consideration, but Taurus is grounded in like, what is the main point of being here? It's the food, because they're an earth sign, versus a Libra might be like, the food is mid, but the vibes are excellent. So I prefer to go to the vibes restaurant. Because they're an air sign and it's more about like being social and socialites.
Okay. We talk about them being stubborn. I'm going to talk a little bit about an example in a bit, but are they petty?
I don't think they're petty. No. They're just stubborn.
Okay, stubborn. Okay.
They're just like, you can stay mad.
Got it.
This is what we're doing.
Okay, interesting.
Or like, you can't change my mind. We have a friend who is a Taurus moon, and he always needs to take a bath every day. He loves his baths, no matter what's happening.
I don't know who this is.
You do know who this is.
Do they live in the state?
Not in this state.
Okay.
But yeah, so
Yes, then I know who it is.
and he's also a big foodie.
I know we
So-
can say who he is. He doesn't give a shit.
It's up to you, but
Yeah, so our friend Chicken, right? Is that who it is? Yeah.
Yes.
He's married or dating Mozzie. They're pretty much
Engaged,
married. They're
too.
engaged. They're pretty much
Yeah.
married. And Mozzie is a longtime supporter of the podcast, so I don't think she would mind. So so he's a Taurus moon. He's not a Taurus sun.
I thought he was a Pisces sun because isn't his birthday February 22nd?
Yes.
So he's a Pisces sun, Taurus moon, and I forget his rising.
Oh, okay. All right. So now that we established who it is, we're not hiding his identity. If anything, we're going to put him on blast and he'll be okay with it. Okay. So yes, he likes to shower every day. He's very
Not just shower, but take a bath.
Oh, that's right,
A
yes.
long bath every day.
He's also really big into his grooming as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had some. That's really funny, huh?
Big foodie. He's
Well,
a big foodie.
Yeah, him and I are big foodies. But I do wonder. He messaged me the other day and we had a really good conversation. I don't want to put too much out there because I don't know how much he's ready to share. But it does sound like he's going on an endeavor, and part of that endeavor does involve communication and groundedness and just like the day-to-day common sense things. So I wonder if it's because he's in his Taurus era.
Yeah, maybe.
Interesting.
But I really see it with him. Once I did his chart and I saw he was a Taurus moon, I was like, everything makes sense now.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
All right. I'm definitely going to have to call him and be like, you need to listen to this episode because we're talking about you. Interesting. Okay. But let's go about the bath thing. So why is that very Taurus coded?
Because they're indulgent and they like the nice physical things.
The finer things in
the
life.
finer things in life. So I feel like Taurus likes the finer things in life for themselves versus Libra likes the finer things in life to maybe not flex, like straight up flex, but to like it looks good on the gram. Like that's Libra code.
The aesthetic.
The aesthetic.
Yeah.
They're very aesthetic driven.
Whereas Taurus is like, I'm just going to cheat myself because I'm going to cheat myself. They don't care if they take a picture of it or not.
Yeah, and it's just like, why not make every day comfortable? Why not get like Egyptian 1,000 thread count? Why not
see.
take a bubble bath every day?
Wow, that's interesting. And I know we always kind of go back to Leos just because you and I are Leos, but I think some similarities, right? I don't even remember when we talked about this. It could have been an Unhinged, but no, it was one of the signs. I think it was Aries of like why I personally like to try new experiences, or if there's something I'm like interested in, I'll go for it. It's because we only really get one shot of it. We get one shot at life, so take advantage of it. I'm curious with Tauruses though, if it's more like living in the moment or it's more of like the self-soothing part of it.
It's a self-soothing part of it.
Self-soothing,
Yeah.
It's all that stubbornness. It gets to their shoulders, and they need to find a way to self-regulate. But jokes aside, that's actually something really good about if a Taurus is able to do that, right? Because they do sound very like a very intense sign, a very
physical,
a very physical, grounded sign. So, you know, we look at the overindulgence, but all that could be is like self-care and regulation, right?
They're very sensual and not necessarily in the sexuality way. They could be, but like they like to.
They're freaks.
I would say Scorpio's the freak and
Okay.
Taurus would enjoy it. But anyway, they more like to engage the senses. Like, yes, I'm going to light that candle. I'm going to take that bubble bath. I'm going to eat the good food because very earthy, very grounded.
But again, the core of it, astrologically, it's more of that self-soothing, right? Not because they're going to miss an opportunity, but to calm down all that energy.
Well, they're calm. It's just how they're hardwired. Like that's sort of their driving force is like to engage the senses.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
All right. Well, I think to put a good picture to it, let's talk about some Tauruses, some notable Tauruses. So on here you have Mr. Beast. You have Shakespeare, Zuckerberg.
yeah, Mark Zuckerberg.
He's a Taurus. Interesting.
Yeah.
Audrey Hepburn, Queen Elizabeth II, Homer Simpson.
He's
I
a
guess-
Taurus
I guess we'll talk about that.
canonically.
Yeah, Beckham, The Rock. Oh my gosh, you love The Rock. Janet
do.
Jackson, John Cena, Liberace, and then Ferruccio Lamborghini, which I'll take that part. But yeah, walk me through some of these and why they're quintessential Tauruses.
I think that Mr. Beast is a fascinating Taurus. When I saw that, I was like, whoa, because Venus also deals in wealth. And Mr. Beast is just really known for making like some fascinating content that revolves around money and wealth.
And talk about overindulgence. I mean, any video he does, and it might not be overindulgence on himself, but at the end of the day, his videos are of like...
He does it big.
Yeah, abundance and excess, right?
Yeah, but it takes hard work. Even though there's millions thrown around like nothing, it's still hard work, and he is hardworking. He built a big brand for himself.
Absolutely, yeah.
And he also made a Mr. Beast chocolate bar, which I thought was interesting. Like, speaking of being a foodie.
Have you tried it?
No.
No, I haven't tried it either. We might have to try it for scientific purposes.
Yeah.
We have Shakespeare. Shakespeare's an interesting one because, now we listen to Shakespeare and we have to read it in... we have to read Shakespeare in school, and it sounds boring and the language can be kind of heavy, but Shakespeare was super satirical, right? He poked fun of the crown. His writings had a lot of archetypes. We have Romeo and Juliet, Hamlet. I mean, all these stories that have a lot of depth and meaning to them. How do you tie that back to the Taurus?
I would say he was, if it was satirical and sort of poking fun at like the royalty, he also was invoking the senses, which is like your visual sense. Like, he brought all of these concepts to life. Venus also rules art, so he made his splash in the like theater arts world.
Okay.
Yeah, literary arts. So very interesting.
Interesting. Zuckerberg, would you say he's that archetypical person you dislike as a Taurus?
I would say so, especially with his recent stunts, but I won't get too into it.
Well, I mean, even when it started, right? It was him and the Von Winkle brothers who started Facebook, and he ended up essentially taking it over and...
Yeah,
I don't know if he was a hero in the story.
Stubborn, hoarding wealth. Very much, but I mean, it does take a lot of hard work.
Of course,
he had vision. I don't know about the execution, but he had vision for it.
Yeah.
So,
Audrey Hepburn, don't know too much about her. She's just like a very famous actress. Honestly, that's really all I know. I think she's way before our time.
yeah,
right?
I think so.
Yeah, Queen Elizabeth II. Trailblazer, right? She enrolled as a mechanic in the Royal, it wasn't the Navy, but basically in the Army. So what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, she had to be a stable leader because, like, she was the first woman. She was up to the challenge. And also, wasn't she the queen during the World Wars? Like, she had to be...
I don't think World War One, but definitely World War Two.
Yeah. So she had to be, strong for her country. She had to be strong for a lot of it.
And then, I don't know, this is a little tongue-in-cheek and a little controversial, but stubborn. She would not die and give up the crown, right?
That's also true.
I mean, it's crazy. Her successor is also going to lose the crown pretty soon because when he inherited the crown, he was already old, right? Mm-hmm. So, like, she just would not let go.
Yeah.
Talk about stubborn, right?
Oh, yeah.
Did you ever make that correlation?
Yeah. Homer Simpson is funny because canonically, I guess his birthday is during Taurus season.
Okay.
But he really likes his donuts.
He does like his donuts. Yes, the overindulgence.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
The overindulgence.
Donuts and beer.
Yeah. Reluctant to change.
Yeah. Very interesting. David Beckham, I mean, amazing soccer player, very hardworking. I just remember his most recent interview when he knocked his wife down a peg, where he was like, "You were not working class."
Yeah.
Good sense of value.
Yes. Yeah, that was a funny clip. All right, let's talk about your boyfriend, The Rock. For anybody who doesn't know, Jen has the biggest celebrity crush on The Rock.
Now that I know he's a Taurus,
oh, wow.
I'm kidding, but I know that he is stubborn because he refuses contracts where he's not the protagonist or the good guy.
That's very true.
Like he refuses to like get killed.
Yeah,
he made a good name for himself. You have to be hardworking to like be that swole and be that successful. So Yeah. He also recently launched like a male self-care line with like body wash, shampoo, conditioner.
Shampoo? He's like bald.
Yeah, you may still need shampoo if you're
Yes.
bald. I don't know how that works, but whatever, he did it and it smells good apparently.
And then some of these are just kind of notable in general. John Cena, Janet Jackson, Liberace. I think you can make a case for kind of all of those types of archetypes that we've talked about. But I do want to get into one specific story, and then you tell me if it's coded. Mm-hmm. All right, so I'm going to tell you the story, and then as we were preparing for this, I learned about this this figure, and I was like, I wonder if it's Taurus, like it has a lot of Taurus in it. So Ferruccio Lamborghini, yes, that Lamborghini. He is a Taurus, and his brand is the bull. So he chose that because he's a Taurus. Mm-hmm. They are the direct competitor to Ferrari. Now, the story is super interesting. Ferruccio Lamborghini was a very successful tractor manufacturer. He made all his parents, I think, own like vineyards and fields, and they developed like this tractor in Italy, and they were big. I mean, you can think like the John Deere equivalent of America. So what happens when you get super rich? You want to indulge. You want to overindulge. He's like, you know what? Let me buy a Ferrari. That's like, the symbol of high class. I want a Ferrari. He was in his spending era. He could afford these luxuries. So I think he purchased 3 Ferraris, and when he went to go drive them, he was like, you know what? These, I paid so much money, and they're kind of like shit. They're not really driving that well. They're very hard to drive. And I mean, he was a rich dude, right? It's not like he was some peasant and he couldn't have access to like Ferrari, but he did. He tried reaching out to Enzo Ferrari and say, listen, I have a couple ideas. I think your cars would benefit from, these changes. They're really hard to drive. And again, he wasn't a racer or anything. He was in his overindulgence era. Well, Enzo Ferrari basically said, I don't give a shit. Like, if you don't know, it's not the car, it's the driver. Like, if you don't know how to drive this Ferrari, that's on you. So Ferrari holds a lot of prestige. There's that funny saying, there's 2 religions in Italy. There's the Catholic Church and Ferrari. So to go straight to Enzo Ferrari and say, like, your product is shit, Enzo was like, you have no idea what you're talking about. You just don't know what you're doing with the car. So then Lamborghini said, okay, bet. So he took the Ferraris he owned and made modifications and fixed them up, and they were way better than was put out. And eventually, that's why I kind of asked about the pettiness. He was like, fuck Ferrari, I'm going to make my own car. And yeah, he made it. He made the Lamborghini. So now that because of that interaction with Enzo Ferrari is what we have Lamborghini. And I saw this clip, it's from like a movie, I don't know if this was like an actual quote or something, but he was like, Ferrari is what you buy when you want to be somebody, a Lamborghini is what you buy when you are somebody.
Wow.
So I thought that was like insane. And funny enough, like I just learned like kind of the whole story as we were preparing for this episode. So now that you know the story of Lamborghini and Ferrari, what are your thoughts regarding to like the Tauruses?
Absolutely Taurus coded. He's a Taurus, born when the sun was in Taurus. He's also founded his company in May during Taurus season. High expectations of like luxury as well as value. It's so interesting because I just looked up Enzo Ferrari. He's an Aquarius.
Oh.
So 2 fixed signs going head to head, and I said that like Leo's and Aquarius do not get along with Taurus. So that's fascinating to see. But
it's really, again, I'm a huge skeptic. I don't believe, but it's so interesting when you find these intersectionalities of like, you say something and then we check it and it's like, oh, it makes sense to you. But what a story, huh?
Yeah. I think that's a great Taurus story.
Yeah. So tell me, okay, so what about his Taurus? Like, why do you think him being a Taurus led to the final outcome of exactly us having Lamborghinis now?
Yeah, I mean, he wanted to indulge in a car exactly how he wanted it. He gave feedback because he thinks it's right and he thinks it's valuable.
But who he gave feedback to is important too, right?
Yeah. The Aquarius, the revolutionary Ferrari, who's like, how dare you question me when I've already put all this work? And, you know, Ferrari is bigger than the car. Like, it's more than just the car.
Yes, it's the brand, the lifestyle.
Yeah, which Aquarius, again, is very, like, big
Larger
picture.
than life.
Yeah, big picture. And Taurus is like, but it doesn't make sense. Like, I don't care who you are. If your car doesn't drive well, it doesn't drive well. And then he was like, you know what? Let me take matters into my own hands. And he did. Yeah, he's like, I want a luxury car that drives well, too.
And what's crazy, too, this wasn't a thing of, like, you know, he went to Toyota because his Camry broke down. Like, nobody needs a Ferrari. Nobody needs a Lamborghini. But he was just like, you know what? Fuck this. I paid for what I paid for, and I want a luxury car.
Yep,
right?
Yep. So, yeah, I think it's interesting to see the fixed signs going head-to-head historically.
Yeah.
I love finding stuff like this.
That's awesome. Good story?
Yeah,
awesome.
I think so.
All right, now let's get to my favorite part of the episodes with the astrology signs. Let's talk about ourselves, because as always, and this will probably be the last time we say it for a while, every one of these astrological signs and seasons, everybody has, right? So, yeah, let's start with me.
Yeah, I think for you, we can really see it because Mars rules your sixth house of just everyday living and routine, but your Mars is also there. So Mars is the planet of execution, manifestation, doing things. So you were saying that, like, hey, I think some of these things are positive, and it's because you value those things in your daily life. So, for example, you're a great cook. I know nobody taught you how to cook, but you figured it out and you enjoy good food. Like, there's nothing that brings you down more than shitty food. It's like, I paid for this, or I had to wait for this, or like that my calories are gone, or whatever it is. Like, you really value quality. And when we first got together, I didn't really understand, like, that sometimes brands are worth paying for. I was just like, who cares? Get the cheapest one. And and you were like, no. So you taught me to appreciate.
Let's get some examples of that. I have the two off the top of my head.
Yeah.
So when we first started traveling and doing overnight trips and all that, when it came time to book the hotels, I mean, you were just like, let's get the most budget Motel 6, cheapest hotel that they have. And I was like, well, I don't want to do that. Like, I want to be comfortable where we're going. Like, yeah, sure, we might just be sleeping there, but like, why not be comfortable? I'm not trying to sound bougie or anything, but very rarely have I stayed at a Motel 6. Like, I usually tend to steer away from like motels. I'm more of like, let's get a comfortable hotel. Like, it'll be a better experience. And you were all about the practicality and like the budgeting, right?
Yeah. So you definitely taught me to enjoy things like that.
Yeah.
Also, I didn't realize until I got with you recently that, like, buying something cheap means having to buy it more often, which in the end is actually more money out of pocket, versus if you buy like a quality thing that'll last you a lifetime, it's more money up front, but like in the long run you'll save money.
Yeah. One of the bigger ones that just gave me so much angst for you was your shoes.
Yeah.
Because you're like, I can never find a good pair of sneakers. And I was like, have you tried like Nikes or like nicer? You're like, I've never owned a pair of Nikes. And I was like, really? Like, you haven't? I was like, what do you buy? You're like, I don't know, Payless or like Walmart shoes, whatever's on sale.
Yeah.
And then I bought you like your first pair of like running Nikes, and I think it made a difference, right?
Yeah, I was like really shocked. I was like, oh, these are good shoes. They're not the same, and I thought they were just like with a higher price tag, but no, there's actually some differences.
Yeah.
Or like Hoka's are great too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you said it's in my sixth house, which is daily routine?
Daily routine and daily living. And it's
Okay.
like, I don't know, for example, like your glasses, you didn't have to get the Meta glasses. Shout out to Zuckerberg.
Oh my gosh.
You were like, I'm going to be wearing these every day, so why not? Or like our laptops, you're like, we're going to be using these all the time, so why not?
Yeah.
Like,
and it's true. Like, for me, it's never about the brand, right? It's like, what can it offer? And usually brands are smart, right? They're like, we'll give, if you're paying top dollar for something, we're offering you this. So there is a lot of like intersectionality between like a name brand and like a good product. But I think one that would be really interesting to share that's very recent, and I think we talked about it maybe in our Unhinged, and I think you mentioned it. I don't know if you said because it was like Taurus season or if it was like one of the retrogrades, but our cell phone providers, right? Mm-hmm. I got really in my Taurus like feels. Do you want to explain what happened?
Yeah, so we've been having cell phone issues where literally if we leave the house we don't have service. It's been like pretty bad, and I just kind of like ignore, or I just wait till I get bars and then I'll send the message. But like I'm kind of go, so I don't really think about it. It's sort of like skipping ads that are annoying, but you don't really think about it after like the 2 seconds is over. But he was like, no, this is affecting our daily life. This is crap. Like we deserve something that is stable and the quality that we pay for. And I just really never thought about it because I'm just doing other things, and I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. So yeah, I think that a lot of that has to do with your daily routine, or like how you want your daily life to go is ruled by Taurus energy.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense, and yeah, I love that you use these examples to kind of show where my Taurus lives. What about you? What's the Taurus in you?
Yeah, so my chart is kind of interesting because the 8th and 9th house are intercepted. So Taurus rules my 9th house technically, and the 9th house is the house of travel. So when I travel, I do like to have, like, let's say I'm driving more than 90 minutes, I do like to have a little sweet treat while I drive. Now that I'm an adult with adult money and not like a broke college student, yeah, I do want to stay in a nicer hotel. It's like, I don't want to be traveling uncomfortable, or even like I carry so much stuff with me, which is why I have a big bag, but it's like I don't want to be uncomfortable outside of my house. So in my house of travel, I like to be very comfortable, which I think is where the Taurus comes in. I do get really picky, and I don't want to say bougie, but like I just can't do like normal chain restaurants anymore. Like I want to go to a sit down, or else it's just not worth going to for me. Yeah.
Yes, and now I think it's great because what you've described Taurus as that is like, it's not just the quality, but it's the value, right? We want, or the Taurus in us wants that, like, they want what they want, basically. I don't want to fucking pay money for something I'm not getting.
Yes.
And before, when we would maybe go through a drive-thru, like the Arches or the Royalties, I don't want to say names because I don't know how crazy it is, you'd be like, well, food's kind of shit, but you can get everything for $5 and it'll fill you up. But it's not like that anymore. Mm-hmm. Not even remotely close. You're paying the same prices
as a sit-down restaurant.
Yes, at the drive-thru as a sit-down restaurant. And I mean, we have this conversation all the time. I feel like we're very fortunate that we live in a place with a lot of diversity, a lot of different cultural, diversity, where we can maybe go eat Indian food or Chinese food or Viet food, and it's like, if we're paying the same price, we might as well get something that we enjoy, and we're supporting the small businesses.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting. And then since we have been doing a lot of travel, and we do tend to travel quite a bit, there are some things that I think you're more like, you know what, let's pay the little extra, even with the New York trip, right? You want to explain the flight part?
Yeah, so for our New York trip, I was like, well, typically it's cheaper to fly out of a bigger airport like San Francisco compared to like the closer one to us, which is Fresno. But I was like, we're going to be traveling coast to coast, which is already like a 12-hour flight because there are some what they called layovers. And we still have to drive like 3 hours back home. Oh my God. So I was actually able to find some decent flights out of Fresno. They are a little more expensive, but it's so worth it. And same thing with our hotel in New York. Like, I think I chose one of the bougiest hotels in Brooklyn, but I was just like, I don't want to be screwed in New York, when we don't know anybody, we don't have a plan B. Like, if we took a chance on a hotel in California and it didn't work out, like, we could figure it out. But we don't know anything or anyone in New York, and it ended up being worth it. It was expensive, but it was such a beautiful hotel. And again, we're going to be posting pictures on our Patreon and talking about it. But yeah, shout out to the William Vale. It was such a great time.
Awesome. Well, man, I would say I'm definitely getting into my feels. We're coming to the conclusion of the signs.
I know.
So just to recap, the Taurus is stubborn, but I think in a good way. I think there's a lot to learn and gather from Tauruses. Since this is the last one, I do kind of want to give my overall over the last 12 months. I think I'm going to rank like my top 3 signs. So in number 3, I think Taurus. I think they're really cool. I think definitely would fuck with them. If you were to put a Taurus with all the characteristics that you mentioned, I feel like I would definitely get along with them. So Tauruses. I think in number 2 is Aries, and I know these were back to back, but I really enjoyed Aries.
Interesting.
I thought they were a really cool sign, and I thought they even though there are a lot, I feel like it was like I still would vibe with an Aries. Like, I thought it was a good one. And then I think for sure, and it's held still, my number 1 is the Virgos. Yeah, I found the Virgos super fascinating. I think if I was going to create like an archetype of a bestie, it would probably be a Virgo. Yes. This has been a fun journey. It is coming to an end with this last one, and I'm sure we've also kind of talked about doing different types of like signs, but in essence, these are the core 12 astrological signs, and we got through them all.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, what are your final thoughts in this journey?
Yeah, I mean, you can keep getting more specific, like an Aries moon, a Taurus moon, etc. Like all the planets, all the placements. So it's just so fun. I feel like this has been able to showcase that you have every sign within you in different combinations.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. So when people are like, oh, Tauruses suck, I'm just poking fun at myself. But it's like, you have them within you. So whether you like it or not, you have more in common with people than different.
Absolutely. Are you willing to rank your top 3?
Yeah, I think at number 1,
Or number 3, you want to do 3, 2, 1?
Oh yeah, I'll do 3. I think at number 3, I would probably put Aries, because I really do like Aries.
Yeah, Aries is a good one.
Yeah. At number 2, I think I would put Scorpios, because I really appreciate them and their intuition, but also their ability to, stand their ground, but in an intuitive way. And then number 1, of course, Leos.
Oh, the
Leo in me can't give up the number 1 spot. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Well, if you want to learn more about your sign, or you want to get some clarification, or like Genesis said, you have a little bit of everything in you. If somebody wants to maybe book a consultation to learn more, how can they get hold of you?
Yeah, definitely reach out. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Blue Sky, at Jen Kahlo and JenKahlo.com.
Awesome. Well, what a journey it's been. Thank you so much. Go back and listen to your sign. I go back and listen to the signs all the time. Anytime we meet somebody and their sign comes up, we're like, we have an episode for that.
Yeah.
Or if we hadn't had the episode, we'd be like, it's coming up. But now we have all 12. So we've covered all the signs. Listen to your sign, listen to your friend's sign, recommend it to your friends, and I think they as at the very least, it's very entertaining.
Yes,
so, yeah.
definitely.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to listen and to watch us. If you haven't already, please sign up to our YouTube. We are looking to hit 50 subscribers so we can go live. But yeah, what a journey. What a journey.
Yes. Remember, the magic within you makes the world a more beautiful place. Blessed be, and signing off.
Bye.